And good morning, welcome back to another video. I really appreciate you clicking on this video. So in this one, last video, I briefly mentioned that we had acquired, that we received the Mytee HP60 Spyder. It's an extractor. So in this video, we already used it on the last detail for like a little bit. So in this video, I'm gonna show you a little bit of it working in action, not so much like talking you through the process, but I'm gonna show you what's going on. And then later on, I'm gonna talk to you about the why we went with the HP60 Spyder versus like maybe the Mytee 8070, how much we spend, our plans with it, and then the difference, or do I still recommend the Aqua Pro Vac, which I've used for years and did hundreds of interiors. Do I still recommend that versus like a more expensive professional unit like the Mytee HP60 Spyder? So a lot going on. Please just bear with me here because we're gonna kind of jump all over the place, but hopefully you pick something up. So I should have showed you like the befores. I didn't, my bad. It took like our efficiency or the past few vehicles have been increasing because we've changed some things up and we're adding some new things. So like vacuuming took maybe 10 minutes. But it was it was pretty bad, and the thorough vacuuming blew everything out, and it's all set to be pre-sprayed and agitated. It took about 10 minutes. So that's, as you can tell, the seats and carpeting do need a lot of pre-spray, agitation, and extraction. So it's actually a great job today because we're gonna put the Mytee HP60 Spyder to the test and what it can do.
Yeah, you can see the difference here.
But this, I should have got more befores, but I'll just focus on I'm just gonna get the extraction part. But this one was pretty bad actually. Like we extracted all the carpeting, all the seats, all the fabric, minus the door panels and headliner, of course. And we did that all in around 2 hours. And of course, when I press record, a plane is gonna fly over me. So that's pretty normal. Yeah, so even this being our second time using the Mytee, we've already changed up our SOP, our standard operating procedures, and we are absolutely, there's already a dramatic impact between having the Spyder and then what we changed up and how we're prepping in the beginning phases before we get to extraction. We charge $240 for this one, so that's 120 per hour on the job site. Okay, so the rest of the video is just gonna be me covering why we got the extractor and our plans and all that stuff. And remember, this Friday, which is only in 2 days or whenever I post this, but this Friday, October 23rd, I'll be opening up enrollment into detailing as a business. That helps you start and grow your detailing business. So we cover sales, customer service, customer experience, marketing, financials, basically how to run a detailing business, not just how to detail in a detailing business, because I'm gonna teach anything detailing related in that course. Anyways, October 23rd. So why did we get the Mytee HP60 Spyder over, let's say, the Mytee 8070, and are we still gonna use the Aqua Pro Vac? Bunch of questions there. So I've been using the Aqua Pro Vac since, I don't know, like 2-ish, 3-ish years now. I've done hundreds of interiors on it. I recommend it 100% to those that are just starting off because, one, it's not expensive compared to like the HP60, which was 1700. The Mytee 8070 is like 1200, 1300. So it's like 475 as of right now, I think. So it's not cheap, like, yeah, it's like $100, but relative to the bigger units, it's affordable. And it's a great entry level extractor. So you don't get a heating element. You only get like 1 gallon-ish of solution and tank on both sides. So there are a lot of cons to it, but if you look back on my initial reviews of that extractor, I still 100% recommend it to those just starting off, meaning either you're just getting started, you're picking up on customers, or like you just don't want to spend that much money, because there's no reason for you. Why? So many things pass by when I start making the video. There's no reason for you to go out and be like, well, that Mytee Light 8070 looks really good, like all the other big YouTubers use it, like, so I should get that one. No, do not have that mindset. Again, I've done, and now we've done hundreds of interiors with the Aqua Pro Vac extractor. We've done the nastiest of ugliest interiors, and we still get great results. And we've been doing 2, 3 customers a day of interiors, like per day, with the Aqua Pro Vac. So don't be like, oh, like, you know, I'm getting 3 customers per week now, like I think I should get that Mytee Light. No, if you're just getting started, if you're not there with the revenue, if you don't have that many customers, if you just want to if you're just entering the interior cleaning game, I 100% recommend the Aqua Pro Vac as a starting point. Now, once you start getting customers, once you start increasing your daily volume to 2 to 3 to 4 per day, I would definitely recommend you upgrade to a bigger unit. Not specifically the Mytee, I don't have any affiliation with them. That's what we use, and that's what I've been looking at. But the Mytee Light 8070 looks like a good option. The HP60 Spyder is a good. There's so many options out there. I mean, do your own research. Don't just listen to my video and go purchase something. So why did we get the Mytee HP60 Spyder over the Mytee Light 8070? Now it's around like a $400-ish difference. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think like the Mytee Light is like $1250, and the Spyder is like $1,600-$1,700. So I don't know, $400-ish of a difference. So for us, the big part to it is I think the tank is a bit bigger on the HP60. But probably the biggest reason why that we saw it as a benefit to us, like to spend that extra few $100, is because the buttons are on the front of the extractor, not on the back side of the extractor. The Mytee Light 8070 has the buttons to start and to turn on all the pumps and stuff on the back side beneath the waste outlet. And like, since, you know, just thinking ahead, we didn't want to have the troubles of having to reach to the back side of the extractor every time to locate those buttons, we just did not want to fuss with that, because we didn't want to spend that extra few seconds like, oh, hey, where's the buttons at? Like, and then we have to maneuver the extractor once we get the bigger van. Like, we got to put it somewhere specific so we can always reach those buttons. Or even in the van that we have now, that Caravan, like if it was on the back side, we'd always have to be like reaching over, trying to press the buttons, knowing which one is that. And we don't want to deal with that. So we primarily got it because the tank size, I believe, is a bit bigger than the 8070, but primarily the buttons are on the front side. And as far as the dimensions of it, I do believe that the Spyder is either a bit shorter but a bit wider versus the 8070, which is a bit taller but a bit more narrow. Now, another thing that I posted on my Instagram on the stories, again, follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of behind the scenes stuff. A lot of people were asking me about this and wondering, and just a lot of questions about it, is that the Mytee gives you a 15-foot hose, and Lex was able to turn it into a 37-foot hose, because we took the Mytee Light, I keep on saying the Mytee, the Spyder extractor hose, and it's 15 feet. Then we used an Aqua Pro Vac extractor and connected it via a coupler, or a coupling, whatever it's called. We had 2 solution hoses, so we just put 15, 22, that gives you 37 feet. So we have 37 feet of hose and of hoses. Now we can keep the extractor inside the vehicle. If you follow me on Instagram, you'd see that I showed you that we did that. We can keep the extractor in the vehicle. We never have to take it down, and it reaches the vehicle. That is a big difference. Not having to take anything down, where you can just pull the hose out, turn on the machine, and take it to the vehicle. Big difference. Now, because we extended it from 15 feet to 37 feet, you are gonna lose some suction power out of it. Like, even the few times that we've used it, we could already tell that there was a slight decrease in suction because we extended the hose from a 15 to 37 feet. So that's pretty normal. That's gonna happen with just about every machine. Like, if you extend it from 20 to like 50, 60, 70, 80, like, you're gonna lose some suction, just because it is what it is. It is a huge difference to use a much bigger unit that has just more power, bigger, more like everything from the previous unit. So like, I know there's a lot of, I had a few messages like, hey dude, like I've been in business for 6 years, I don't have an extractor, or like I still use a Bizzle Pro Heat and it's working fine. And it's like, again, like if you don't do that many interiors, that's fine. If you don't need the bigger unit for whatever reason, that's fine. But again, like I mentioned in the last video, there's a difference between YouTube detailing and detailing as a business. Like you see, I've seen a lot of videos where like people using Bizzle Pro Heats. If that's all you can afford at the moment, that is absolutely fine. There's no trouble. 100% also recommend that. If you can't afford the Aqua Pro Vac, then get the Bizzle Pro Heat, whatever it's called, like $100 or something. 100% recommend that because that's what you can afford. That's absolutely fine. But once you actually start getting more customers, or if like that's the primary thing you do, and that's the only unit that you're using, like you're by default gonna take longer because it is so weak, the suction sucks, the tank is so small. With the Aqua Pro Vac, it's only like about a gallon-ish of solution and tank and recovery tank. So we would have to sometimes refill 2 to 3 times per detail just to finish the job, and that would be a lot of downtime. Like you gotta pour it out, you gotta fill it back up, you gotta mix it up again, and then you get back to work. Where now with this one, it's like 4 gallons and some change, I guess. So we can run through the whole interior without ever having to refill the tank. If we do have to refill the tank, we have a 5-gallon tank of already pre-filled water and solution in there, so now we can just dump it straight into the extractor and get right back to work. So like as far as efficiency for us, I mean, it's gonna skyrocket even with the minimal, even with now that we have the extractor. Like we are really firing on all cylinders in terms of like what we need to do in order to be even more efficient. And with the Aqua Pro Vac, like we just couldn't see, like that was the bottleneck in that point. And again, like when you find a solution to one problem, another problem is gonna arise downstream because of that one solution. It's just a habit of it, right? Like with this one right now, like yes, we now replace the Aqua Pro Vac, right, with a more professional, bigger, stronger unit. But now because of that, like the van is now 100% capped out. Like we can't add anything more to the van. So that another problem arises. Now we're like, hey, we're now maxed out here. So what do we do here? And then you solve that problem, and then you're like, hey, now this is the next problem. So every time you have a solution to a problem, downstream another problem is going to happen because now you just kind of push that problem somewhere else. Now in terms of running the extractor, we have the Harbor Freight Predator 3500. So when we're just heating up the extractor, which takes like 8 minutes, the only thing that's running is the heater. So we can still run the air compressor and the vacuum, I believe, I don't know if at the same time or one at a time, but we can still run like 1 or 2, maybe 2 things off that generator once we turn on the heat, once that heater is fully running, and once the suction is on, and then once the solution hose is on. Like at that point we can only run the extractor for the most part. We haven't really tried it out, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna max out the generator, and we can only maybe run one more thing. That's why when we get there, we change up the SOP and the operations when we get there. So now when we get there, we immediately blow everything out and vacuum everything, and then we go into the pre-spray and agitation. That way we get rid of the air compressor, we get rid of the vacuum, and the only thing we have to run now is we pre-spray, agitate with the drill brush, and then we extract everything. So this truck was like a perfect candidate for like really testing, or at least helping us see what we need to do. So now instead of we blew everything out, we both had our drill brushes, so we were like using it where needed. I was vacuuming, he was blowing everything out, and in 10 minutes it was all set to go. And after that, it was literally just pre-spraying. He pre-sprayed everything, I agitated everything, he extracted everything, I went to the door panels, he got on the plastic, and it took 2 hours. Fabulous job. So now it's only just getting our systems even better, because the way I see it is like, if you follow like in the NBA, there's like, you know, it's a bunch of analytics now. So like there's your plus or minus stat, right? Like how effective is a player on the court when they're on. Like if they have a +7, then you know he was a good player. If they're +20, then they're a good player. If they're -20, then you know they did bad. I know like if you, that isn't like really a good stat to go off of or whatever, but just the general premise of it is like when we're working on a vehicle, we always want our systems to be like +20, right? Like every move that we make, everything that we add to the SOP, every new step that we add has to be to increase our efficiency. We don't want to overwork ourselves. We don't want to do double steps. If we can remove a wasted movement, then we will do that, because we want to shave off 2 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 1 minute here, 3 minutes there, 30 seconds here. Like we want to shave off all these little minutes of wasted movement, because it's like, it's just redundant. Like you don't need this inefficiency in your system. So we're trying to make it to a very beautiful synced up harmony on every vehicle, because that's just going to that's what's going to maximize our efficiency. Man, so I honestly have no idea how long this video is, so I'm gonna wrap it up right here. Again, download the guide in the description box to get on the newsletter to see when I open up enrollments into detailing as a business this Friday, October 23rd. You'll get the link, or just follow me on Instagram. I'll have the link to the Mytee extractors, or the extractor that we use, down below, as far as and the Aqua Pro bag extractor. I've been talking too much. Other than that, I mean, follow me on Instagram to look at behind the scenes content. That's where I post a lot of it and I get a lot of questions and stuff. And other than that, I'll see you on the next one.